We serve an almighty God, and he commands us to care about the nation that we are in.
People need to be equipped on how to live out their faith in the public square.
Personal faith with Jesus is critical for your own health, but it's also critical for the national health.
They really tackle head-on all those really big issues no one wants to talk about.
You explained the difference, as you saw, between Aboriginal traditional religion and Christianity, saying they were incompatible. I actually tend to agree with you.
We're not hearing this stuff in our churches.
The most important thing we can do is to win souls for Jesus Christ.
They are cutting to the quick with the word of God.
The second most important thing is to make sure we can still do the first thing.
G'day and welcome to the Church and State Show. I'm the host of this show and the founder of the ministry Church and State, Dave Pellowe. With me in this episode is former federal member for Dawson, up north of Queensland, and the Asia Pacific coordinator for CitizenGo. Is that accurate?
Just Australia, mate, not Asia Pacific, just Australia.
Well, I just gave you promotion, extra territory.
Thanks very much.
So anyway, you now know who it is. No spoilers anymore. Well, it's already spoiled. George Christensen, welcome to Church and State, George.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here because we see what Church and State do as an alignment with what CitizenGo is pushing. Yeah. We're not an overtly Christian organisation, but our values are based, I guess, in Christian action values, and we're solidly promoting and defending life, family and freedom in Australia and all throughout the world.
It's brilliant. I mean, that's exactly what needs defending, life, family and freedom. We have... it's really the crux of the most satanic, demonic attacks on humanity. It's historical, it's ancient. Westerners like to pretend we're all sophisticated and technological and scientific and empirical. But the reality is that we serve these ancient demons with things like the child sacrifice industry and just abusing and butchering both people's God-given sacred identities in sexuality and gender and so many other important aspects. So, George, the question for this series I'm doing in the Church and State Show and asking everybody is how to save Australia. And so really, just as I really want to get into like the fly-on-the-wall conversations that everybody can watch, essentially, where we ask the question, what do you think? How do we save Australia? Let's have that really gritty conversation of what's gone wrong, and not just talking about the stuff we all know and rehearse and say all the time and see on every channel, but like, where does the rubber hit the road? How are we going to turn this ship around and save the nation from civilisational collapse, if not bring it towards a loftier goal of renaissance, of rebirth, of revival, and discovering the highest blessings that God wants for our lives, our families, our freedom, our faith, the nation?
You have asked a very hard question. And, how do we save Australia? There's a lot of people going around saying now that they worry about the future, that it possibly can't be saved. I don't think so. But it is not going to be easy. It is not going to be quick. And people get despondent when things take some time and there's a number of different losses. But look, there are three things that people could do. And I'm firm on this. I'm going to be very firm. If people are waiting around for the white knight, the knight in shining armour, to ride there over the horizon and suddenly save us all, this political saviour, forget about it. That is not going to happen. That is not how Australia is going to be saved. And indeed, over in the United States, right, they've elected Donald Trump. He's seen by many as the saviour of America. But there's even things that conservatives and Christians would probably rightly criticise Donald Trump for doing or not doing at the moment. So, you know, politicians are just like the rest of us. You know, they have their failures, they have their foibles. Don't look to a politician to say, what can you do? What can you do? Well, I'll tell you what, having been inside the parliament and now being outside the parliament and still in the political realm, actually, on both when I was in the parliament, obviously, and now in the role that I'm in and writing and other things like that, I can tell you that I believe I have more power right now than I actually had when I was in parliament. And why is that? Why is that? Because there's nothing, you know, apart from our relationship with God and perhaps our employer, nothing that actually constricts us from doing certain things, saying certain things, reading certain things. You can be more powerful than a politician as a citizen, an active citizen. So the one thing is, though, I would say you need to be aware. You need to be informed. Okay, so that's number one in how to save Australia. Be informed. Go on.
To be clear, the question isn't just universal. What can we, the average person, do? I'm happy to, like, what can you do? So you can answer both ways. You can answer both ways, but because
I will, because I know you want to get specific, right?
I do, but the thing it's actually interesting what individuals are doing who don't. Not everybody is going to be the Australian coordinator director for CitizenGo.
Yep.
You have unique opportunities here, which will form what I'm aware of. And the reason I'm doing this series isn't I'm looking for the silver bullet.
Yep.
What I'm aware is there's going to be an army of allies fighting on various
100%.
fronts, which will cohesively provide the solution or most of the solution. In this, the viewer will find things that they can support and do.
Yep. So I think that what you've just said, it's going to dovetail in, right? Let me just finish on what the viewer can do,
Great.
And then I'll come to what I'm doing, and I'll show you how it dovetails in. So the first thing is be informed. There are a myriad of reputable organisations out there that are on the Christian, conservative, libertarian sort of realm, I guess, and you need to pay attention to what those outfits are telling you. You need to do your own research. Never, ever be denigrated or accept an insult about doing your own research. It's important. Right? So then the next thing is to act. Okay, I said active citizenry can be more powerful than politicians. If you are just going to sit at home and gripe or complain to your friends or complain on Facebook about what's going on, that is not going to change anything. You need to act. So petitions, rallies. Some people think they don't do anything. I can tell you as a former politician, that's not true. That you need to be emailing your politician, you need to be phoning them, you need to be eyeballing them and scaring them because a politician will respect you when they fear you. Okay? So, and how do politicians become afraid? They become afraid when they think they're going to lose, right? So that's the key.
Great.
When they think they're going to lose, they will do something. They will act. They will change their stance. That's the power that you have as an active citizenry. And the final thing I would say that Christians need to do is pray. Sometimes forgetting all these things, a supernatural element to it. You referred before at the start talking about the assaults on life, family, and freedom as something satanic or demonic that's happening in the world. And this is true. I think that we forget the element of prayer and spiritual warfare in the battle that we are fighting. It is very important, not just for the world and the nation, but for us and our families and having a hedge of protection around them, right?
Yeah.
It's important because I'm clear, this battle is spiritual now. It's not just political, it's spiritual.
100%.
So what am I doing? Okay, well, besides CitizenGo, and CitizenGo, I now communicate directly on near daily basis. Some people get sick of my emails, with them about different things that are going on, different things that they might not be aware of. What's coming out of the Queensland Parliament, what the Special Envoy to combat Islamophobia recommended to the Albanese government, conservative Christian professors who are under attack by the left-wing media, a host of different things that perhaps unless someone was trawling through the news every day, they wouldn't be aware of, right? So we are trying to tell people where we think the critical fights are in Australia for life, family, and freedom. CitizenGo also, this is beyond me, but they have a global network, global campaigners that actually talk about some of the stuff that's coming down from the UN and the globalist bodies. I'm going to say I do have a hand to play in that because I regularly research what they are doing now. I've worked out, took me, 12 years in politics almost to work out that the stuff that was landing on desks there in Canberra actually wasn't democratic in the sense that it's not coming from the ground up. It's coming from the top, as in the United Nations, right down on top of us. So I keep monitoring what we're doing. CitizenGo will keep informing you. And then we are trying to encourage people to act, yes, principally through petitions, but we're doing other things, We're trying to create awareness, and we're doing it quite deliberately in a combative way. We're not here to play nice. We're not here to get access to politicians. We're here to punch them in the nose, like metaphorically speaking, of course.
It's absolutely needed.
But again, as I say, the only way that you are politically respected is if you are politically feared.
Yeah.
And politicians don't really respect you. They'll give you lip service. They don't really respect you unless they think, boy, they could move a whole heap of people away from me. Donors, voters, supporters, and they could move them to another column, and then the person gets worried. So that's what CitizenGo does. And again, on the final element, we are not an overtly Christian organisation, but I got to tell you, it's made up of mainly Christian people. And indeed, where it began was out of a drive by our president and CEO, whose name is Ignacio Osuaga. He's a Spanish guy, a lawyer, and he had a strong drive to the Catholic action and the values of Catholic action, which we could actually call Christian action, because basically what it means is the principles that underpin Christianity, life, family, and freedom, I guess, that the social values of Christianity, I should say, need to be protected in the modern world. And that is what we are doing. That is a mission that we're living up to. So I think that there's an intersection there. And look, when I started this job with CitizenGo, we had under 18,000 members. We're now heading towards 100,000. And that's been in the space of less than 3 years. Where will we be in another 3 years? Hopefully we'll be nudging 250,000. And then we'll be 3 years beyond that. Well, hopefully we'll be nudging 500,000.
Yeah.
And I've got to tell you, when we get to that level, they do get spooked. You think about that. Right now, there are some electorates around Australia where CitizenGo could say, right, we're going to target seat X because the member there is anti-life, anti-freedom, anti-family. They've got all the runs on the board the wrong way, and we want to get them out. We could generate about 1,000 people. Now, some seats are held by a couple of hundred votes.
Yeah.
We get up to 500,000. We're talking about thousands of people in each electorate, and that is immensely powerful. There's power in numbers, and that's why I would encourage you, for those that are watching, please join. If you don't like your inbox being crowded by emails, just delete and ignore them. But look at them, some of them, because some of them are very important. All of them are very important. But I mean, you need to be part of this to actually affect change. And I'm not parochial. Join the ACL, join Advance, join Family Voice. We're all fighting the same fight. You can be members of more than just one organisation. We're not asking for money. We're just asking for you to join and be part of the movement.
Other than CitizenGo, what else are you doing? What initiatives, strategies?
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
I started talking about that before.
Yeah.
I guess that the things I'm doing outside of CitizenGo, at the moment, I'm the editor of Nation First, a newsletter that I started up a long time ago, and I do try to do five. Well, I do 5 newsletters a week, and some are free, go out to everyone. Some just go out to the paid subscribers. But that's about the first part I said about being informed. You know, and look, I've also just taken over. This is very new. Taken over editorial and ownership of Confidential Daily, which is was founded by Corey Bernardi, so confidentialdaily.com, where it's pretty well focused on Australia, but we're enlivening that a bit. It's going to be more than just me. Corey continues to contribute to it, more than just me and Corey. I'm talking currently with Craig Kelly about him coming on board and doing a few columns to get a bit of different insight there. And also to have more about alternative health, financial freedom, things like that. So this is just more practical, common sense stuff. That's our, Corey's tagline is "Common sense lives here," and we're gonna keep it that way. So Confidential Daily. So this is all about informing people, but I'm keen to get to the action part of it. And so just thinking of all the things I'm doing, and I don't know, maybe I'm going to be run ragged by this time next year. But I'm in the throes of setting up a podcast.
I've got more to do for you.
Don't give me more. Don't give me more. This is all about action. Command Post Australia, a podcast that I'm launching in November. And it is going to be about intel, news, intel, and action. What's going on that you see in the mainstream media. We'll tell you the important things. The intel, the stuff that we know that isn't in the mainstream media, that you need to know about, and most importantly, the action points that an active citizenry can take away and actually implement on their own.
Yeah.
Because there's no white knight. This is up to us. And so I see this little venture, a hobby of mine, this Command Post Australia podcast, being very different from every other podcast. I'm not going to sit down and talk to someone for even 20 minutes, let alone an hour, about something. Interviewing people 10 minutes max, 5 minutes if we can get it down to that. They're going to be the experts. They're going to tell us what is the inside story here, what is the problem, what is the solution, what can people do. That's what we want. This is a command post. If people want to actually know what they can do to turn this country around, that's exactly what this podcast was made for.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant because I think the problem has been the disengagement of people, the laziness of people, especially Christians who are meant to be salt and light, who are meant to be keeping the darkness at bay, exposing the obstacles and the stumbling blocks, revealing them, and as salt, preserving against the decay, the rot, which salt always did in the ancient world. It was the preservative when they didn't have fridges. It's the season and the flavor. But, Jesus was pretty unhappy with people who lost their flavor. Who salt without season, he said, is good for nothing but throwing out and trampling underfoot. He said, you don't take your light and hide it under a bed or hide it under a basket. You put it on a lampstand so everyone in the house can benefit from it, so everyone can see it. And we have taken our light and taken our flavor out of the public square, and we've just gone into cruise control, and she'll be right. We've become consumers, happy to let the government do what they want, happy to let everybody. I think one of the worst things about our democracy is compulsory voting, because people who don't care, who don't think, who don't understand are forced to make decisions on behalf of the whole nation.
Yep.
Now, if we had an absolute dictator, let's say King Charles had no parliament and he actually ruled, and he had no interest, no knowledge, and no care. He just did what was good for him and his family, and however the media manipulated his emotions on the day, then we would think he's a lousy ruler. But that's exactly how everybody votes. That's exactly how everybody wields their power.
And as a result, it is the political class that we have in power too.
It's the result we have. And so by Christians and conservatives, by nature being polite and nice and not punching baddies on the nose like you metaphorically said before, we've actually let the wicked, tyrannical, violent people who want to shut down the pursuit of truth, shut down the sanctity of truth, and now sanctify feelings instead. They've been left to concentrate their power instead of being diluted or even outvoted by righteous people. And so, maybe you can give me accurate numbers, but my understanding is there's probably 10% of members in political parties today than there was 50 years ago.
Oh, look, I don't have the numbers for you, Dave, but it's drastically less. I mean, there's many reasons for that, and I won't opine about that, but probably from the age of the internet, exploding and increasing, there's been a commensurate decline in the number of people in political parties.
So this is the problem.
Yeah.
And strategies like yours are the solution.
Well,
where we say to everybody, wake up, switch on, get involved, turn up, stop abandoning the field because you are on the field, you're not on the sidelines, and you're getting trounced because you're asleep.
Yeah, I think some people think that if I just keep on plodding along and not getting involved, that nothing will happen to me, but it's not true. I mean, we are seeing right now an erosion of freedom, just like you would not believe. And the moment they come for freedom of faith, we've lost everything. The moment you come for freedom of speech, you've lost everything. I mean, you don't have a functioning democracy if you don't have free speech.
Yeah.
And what stage then, if we get to the stage where we can't talk about certain issues that are hard for modern society to hear about our Christian faith, well, where's it going to go? Because it never ever stops there.
Yeah.
Remember the gay marriage debate? And we were saying, oh, this is going to lead to X, Y, and Z. And they're going, you can't have that slippery slope argument. It's nonsense. But actually, the reality, only just a few years later, was completely borne out. Everything that we said could potentially happen from same-sex marriage going forward eventuated. So it never ever stops. That they always want a bit more and a bit more and a bit more and a bit more on the left. And so where is that bit more going to end up in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 30 years' time, 40 years' time, 50? Where's it going to end up in the year 2100 when our grandkids, our great-grandkids are having to live in this society? What is the future going to be? And I'm very worried about that, particularly if we just keep on absenting the field. And I don't say, I know that you do, you would say join a political party. You don't have to join a political party. And in fact, sometimes, I know one political party, in fact, that I won't name right now, that the screws can be turned on you if you join it. And, if you post something that they don't like on social media, you might find yourself before a disciplinary committee and being asked to explain yourself. So sometimes it's not a bastion of freedom and they just want conformists, right? But there's political activist groups, there's political organisations that are out there, such as CitizenGo, the ones I named earlier, ACL, Family Voice, a whole heap of them that you can get involved in and actually take action that way. So, yeah.
I don't know if we should debate joining. I don't. I'm actually just the strategies. Look, I'm happy for people to do something. If they don't want to join a political party, but they're doing something else, great, more power to you. I think the political parties need saving. I think, again,
you can do both.
You can do both. Absolutely, yeah. But I think it's just another example. It's just we've absented these places. And they've gone to weeds because the people who maintain them and want representation are gone. It frustrates me that people complain about the darkness of the Liberal Party, the moral darkness, the leadership vacuum. But to complain about the darkness while removing your light seems impractical, seems illogical, and you have to understand that there's no short-term solutions. There's no silver bullets. What's certain is the people who don't turn up lose.
I don't want to push back in debate, but I just will say, we need to be wise and discerning. Because how far has the darkness spread, and is it too far? I mean, that and I'm not talking necessarily about the Liberal Party, but I mean, Dave, I belong to an Anglican denomination. There's a big rift that's going on in the Anglican world now, and basically the Orthodox side of the traditional side of Anglicanism has come out and said, well, we don't want any part with you, churches like the Church of England and the American Episcopal Church, because you've accepted revisionist Christianity. Well, it's not even Christianity. You now accept gay marriage blessings, abortion, you bless abortion, all the rest of it. Go your own way. We don't want any part of this darkness. And I'd say sometimes the same thing has to happen in politics. I would not say to any Christian to join the Greens. That is a party of darkness. I would say right now, I would not say to any Christian to join the Labor Party, because on the issues of life and traditional family as we understand it as Christians, they are also consumed with darkness.
I think you're right. I wouldn't tell anybody to join the Labor Party. I would bless them if they wanted to, if they felt God was telling them to. I would say, go ahead. Like, for example, Claire Scriven is an upper house Labor member in the South Australian Parliament. And I would say she deserves a vote. I wouldn't say at the expense of at least equally Christian candidates, equally principled candidates with better parties who will support. But I'm just trying to leave room for people to follow the prompting of the Holy Spirit, and to just because she's in the Labor Party doesn't mean she's a bad candidate. She's actually courageous to vote for the sanctity of life and against the exploitation of women through prostitution. She's got moral fiber and character, and I'd almost say she deserves support because she is shining her light in such a dark place. So essentially you're still going to have to compare the whole field and see who deserves your best vote. But if you vote beneath the line, you can put the good Labor people with the other Christians above the low quality candidates, and the bad Labor people just above the Greens right at the bottom.
Well, I would say, I know that there are some pro-life MPs and Christian MPs and senators, and state senators, or whatever we call them, upper house members, that are in the Labor Party, and I would refer to the Bible to them. 2 Corinthians 6:17. Come out from among them. Come out from among them. I'm serious. I don't know how any Christian can be a member of the Greens Party. And after all the dancing and parading in the Queensland Parliament when they passed those abortion laws, I don't know how any
mean
Christian...
Labor?
Yeah.
You said Greens?
No, Labor. Sorry, I haven't named the party, but yes, Labor, as I'm talking about. I was about to say, I don't know that anyone can be a member of the Labor Party, at least in Queensland. Any Christian can be a member.
I know good Labor members who've done it real tough in that party.
Well, I don't know how they justify remaining in with that sort of stuff. I really don't know. But anyway, that's each their own, I guess.
Between them and God.
Come out from among them is what I would say.
Yeah, look, it would be good if they... we're kind of indulging in intellectual conversation now, but just to round it off, it'd be fantastic if Claire did migrate to at least the Liberal Party, if not Family First, or a more Christian three. But at the same time, I think she's got a portfolio, but even if she doesn't, she's in the government, and right now that's useful to the good guys to have her vote in their caucuses and party room discussions. But look, what do we got for time? Just a few minutes left. Have you got any other thoughts to wrap up? Things that you're doing, visions, things that are blue sky, opportunities you're thinking about, even in the broad strategic strokes of how to save this nation?
Well, I keep on going back to that Command Post Australia, which there's nothing up at the moment. It's just simply there's been some trailers for it released, but very soon there'll be stuff that will be found at commandpost.au. There's nothing up there at the moment. But this is my blue sky project. It's I want it to be as popular in Australia, at least, as the War Room is in America, Steve Bannon's War Room. And I'm unapologetically just copying exactly the sort of program that he runs, because it is so
inspired by
stealing the the concept, whatever. It's a great concept because they go around the nation, they talk to different people who are sort of experts in the field, who can explain very complicated things to people succinctly, sharply, give them the inside info and tell them what to do. If we're going to turn this nation around, Dave, that is what needs to happen. We need to be able to explain to people out there what actions that they can take themselves to turn the nation around. And yes, even parties like the Liberal Party, what action can you take? And I would hope that we are going to get a lot of rank and file members of the Liberal and National parties, and the Liberal National Party in Queensland, Country Liberals in Northern Territory and elsewhere, that will join us. And we're going to get some inside info that'll help those people discern who to vote for in pre-selections, who to vote for as president of their own party. Brilliant. When those votes come around. We're going to get our hands dirty. They will hate us for it. But there is a possibility of turning around the Liberal and National parties. It's remote, I want to say, but it's there, and we need to try, if we can, to do it. There is greater hope in some of these minor parties that have stuck around for a while. I see big hope in the future, in the next 5 years, for what might happen. And again, the podcast will be pushing for unity on the right, so that we actually can have a third conservative political force that'll be as strong as, say, the Teals and the Greens currently are right now. That's what we need in this country.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I think the parties can be saved. I don't think it's a given. I think we need armies of people to join them and flood them, and to be well informed, so that truth can coordinate attacks against bad actors, and coordinate defense and promotion of the righteous, courageous leaders. I mean, I like Andrew Hastie.
Mm-hmm.
I've wanted him to do great for a long time. My sadness is that he's been an MP for 10 years and has bided his time with curious quietness for so long. Yeah, well, go for it. And so to be fair to Andrew, we have to take responsibility for the lack of
backup,
imprimatur, backup, authority to speak and publish courageous common sense and conservative convictions.
It's on us.
It's on us. And if we don't join the parties, we can't shoot them for not having courage. And I think, like you're saying, to be able to promote politicians to do good requires us being willing to bring both a carrot and a stick to the parties, and something. It's just super important. We have to turn up. I love what you're doing to engage people, to inform people, to activate people, And Church and State News is very proud to share things that you write and help point people back to your platform when we can, as well as others. And it's fantastic. You're doing a great job. I love your strategy. And keep up the good work.
Do you mind if I plug those platforms? Is that fine? Nationfirst.com.au or nationfirst.substack.com will get you to Nation First. Confidentialdaily.com will get you to Confidential Daily, of course. CitizenGo.org if you want to join CitizenGo. And as I said, nothing's up yet, but look for it next month, late next month. Commandpost.au will be launching in November.
Brilliant. And of course, if you are tuned to Church and State News and our weekly newsletters, you will get those announcements, those links as they become available. Make sure you follow George Christensen on all of his social media channels, and you'll not miss a beat. That's going to be critically important. Well, thank you for watching this episode, sharing it with friends. Make sure you head to churchandstate.com.au. We've got a brand new series of videos up, freshly recorded after the Church and State Adelaide conference, which was called Seeking God for South Australia. It's all about the coming election and how you can actually vote like a Christian would in the state election. And we've got half the videos up already, maybe more by the time you watch this episode. And so head to christiansvote.com.au for that particular series. christiansvote.com.au. That's going to be useful all the way up for the whole South Australian state election before it will be redeployed for the next state election, which I believe will be Victoria. But thank you for watching, and thank you for all the supporters who make this possible. And that's it for this episode. We will see you next one. Bye-bye.
Our job as Christians is to let the light shine, but also resist evil. So you're a salt and light. And so without being activists on every issue, pick your issues very carefully, the ones that you really feel are bad for our society, and then take action.